Welcome to Anywho Podcast with your boy JC.
Yeah, man, 4-5.
And we back. We about to talk about this in-season tournament. So listen, man. Tuesday night, right? That was Tuesday night.
Yep.
Was the beginning. No, it was
Monday night.
Monday night was the beginning. Right. Monday night was the beginning of the in-season tournament. We had the Pacers versus the Celtics. We had the Pelicans versus the Kings. Then after that, last night, we had the Knicks and the Bucks, and we had the Lakers and the Suns. So we about to dive into them joints right there. We're going to start off with the first two games that started off on Monday. The Pacers and Boston and your man Tyrese Halliburton, bro. I ain't gonna lie. So this year, I've been looking out for him because, you know, that's your man. So I'm like, all right, let me see. Let me see what's going on. He been snapping this year. But this game, for sure, made me a fan of him because I'm watching how he moving, how he doing. It was just sometimes I thought he should have just banged that shit. But other than that, man, he's tough. Bro is tough. He can shoot. He can dribble. He can handle the ball.
It don't look like he can shoot, but he can shoot.
It don't look like it. That'd be the funny thing, too.
I think that's why he get them joints off.
Mm-hmm. Because it's an awkward shot. So it's like, you got to guess when you about to block that joint. So, I mean, I was liking it, bro. I was really banging with it, man. I don't know how you felt about that. I mean, I know you were going crazy.
I will say, as far as, like, the Pacers, because of him is where they're at, they don't have a roster that should be dropping as many points as they do. I know you've seen we all know the Hawks game where they broke records, had it was like 152, 150.
That was a crazy game.
Rick Carlisle, what he's thinking right now, like how they do their defense is they're not really worried about the perimeter. They let people, the thing is they are worried about the perimeter. They let people drive and they just say, because they're like lead the leagues in points allowed in the paint or something like that. And because they got great rim protection with Miles Turner and other guys, they're like, all right, just meet us in the paint.
Right.
If you score, you score. It's okay. Because on the other end, if you miss, we want to get on the fast break. And it's like, can you stop us, basically? Which is nothing you could keep up in the playoffs because, you know, the game starts to slow down. Teams get to, like, you know.
Half-court sets.
Yeah, they get to look at your tendencies. It's a 7-game series. You're playing against better players. But they was able to play this way against Boston. And it didn't really work in the first half, but once third quarter came, they played at their pace. And as long as they're playing at their pace, it's funny, their team is the Pacers. But as long as they play at their pace, they're going to cook. And that's basically what ended up happening. Yep. He ended up getting his first triple-double on his second primetime game, I think first game on TNT. So really good game. But how do you feel about how the Celtics played that night?
That's funny. I think it would have been different if they had KP in there. If they had Porzingis in there. They had the bull, Cormit in there. Cornette, that's his name. Cornette was in there, John. And he was all right. Tall, humble. He was cool.
Verticality.
Yeah, I mean, he was cool, but they definitely needed more offense.
For sure. And
how I'm feeling about this team, real for real, y'all got to let us know in the comments how y'all feel, because this is an important team. I mean, this is one of the main teams in the league. Contenders. I think Boston need to change who they focus the offense around. And I think they need to focus on JB. It's not that I think that he's so much better than JT. They just dropping the ball by focusing on JT. But at this point in time, I feel like that's the only thing they haven't really tried. I feel like KP is just Al Horford at this point. You know what Al Horford was for them when they was contending. He not that no more, so they just replaced him with Porzingis. And I feel like Jrue Holiday is just like, I mean, he's Marcus Smart. He's a little bit better, but he Marcus Smart.
He's a better playmaker, but
when it comes down to it, it's going to be like how that coach run that offense. And a lot of times I see JT just shrink a little bit in pressure situations, whether it be in the first quarter of a big game or whether it be in the fourth quarter of just a regular season game, and he just all of a sudden he just froze type thing. JB don't be freezing. And that's the only thing I think is their real issue. They need to just focus on JB and go through Jaylen Brown. I don't know how you feel.
I think it's smart to get JB involved in more sets. I still think JT is the better offensive player, but the reason why I say just focus on getting JB like more plays off is because JT is like more skillful. He can get it in the ISO. He's going to get it. If he's shooting bad in the first half, he can get it together in the second half. I don't really
cooking Halliburton, bro.
Have that faith in JB, especially with his ball handling not being there like that. His shot creation not being at the level of JT. So I'm not saying like necessarily focus on like JB should be getting more of the targets, but they should at least be even. And I would like to see an offense where first quarter JB is getting the looks,
something
get him
like
high.
That, right?
Because like we said, we've seen JB. I've seen it against my Sixers in a horrible Game 6 where we we had Jason Tatum was like 0 for 10 or 1 for 10, and then come fourth quarter, he's like hooping.
Right,
so we know he can get that out of him. I do agree. He does shrink in certain moments, but he is younger, so we just got to see. He is also like 25, 26.
Yeah.
So you hit your prime at 27 in sports, something like that. So he still got a little bit of time. I personally think one of them got to go at some point. And I don't know when that happens.
It's getting down to that.
But I do think you can get something out of. I know they're like you can't get two wings. There's not many teams with two wings as good as them, but I do want to see something change because like it's been this for like a minute. But let's see how this year goes.
Yeah, we'll see how this year goes. We gotta see how this year goes early. But I would not be surprised if the Pacers beat them in the playoffs. I wouldn't be surprised. I really would not be surprised because the Pacers are alright, bro. Like looking at the Pacers, bro, they alright, bro. They remind me of something like how the Kings were 2 years ago. Like you like, oh, they coming. You feel me? They around.
One thing I want to say about Tyrese is that it's just kind of like, of course, we don't expect him to keep this up like throughout his whole career, is like keeping these averages, but he's averaging like 26 points, 10 assists on 50, 40, 90 shooting damn near.
Mm-hmm. On some bronze.
And that's like Chris Paul, but can get to a bucket very efficiently. So, you know.
He's taller and he's bigger. You feel
Yeah,
me?
exactly. And because he's 6'5", he can make the passes that only like a Jokic and LeBron can make. He also jumps when he's making his passes. So, you know, for most people, you're not supposed to jump because once you jump, you can't come back down. But he's intentional with his jumping, and when he's jumping, he's like looking over places. He got the ball on the string, throwing it on the rope, making passes, ridiculous passes.
Bro, he's nice.
Yeah, I hopped on this pod, and I'm sure a couple of episodes I said, give it a couple of years, he'll be a top 5 guard. It's looking like he'll be a top 5 point guard in the league. I already got him over Ja. I mean, you know how I feel about Ja. You know what I mean?
I can't wait for him to come back.
Can't wait for him to come back. Should be coming back soon.
Soon, yeah, definitely soon. All right, and Pelicans and the Kings, right? This was a alright game. I was not expecting the Kings to lose like this, to be honest. My takeaway from this whole game, it's 2 takeaways, right? And one is going to, you can be like, what? But the first, John, the Kings, they just seem like they a player away from actually being a championship contender. Because what it seemed like to me is when it comes down to and Pelicans is not a good team by far. I'm not going to say not a good team, but they're not like one of the top
contender,
teams.
yeah, or not like on the Kings level.
On the Kings level, right? But when it comes to certain teams like Golden State, we see them having trouble getting past Golden State. We see them have trouble with some of the top teams in the West, like the Suns or something like that. You feel me? Even the Jazz sometimes come in and give them smoke. It's like, what y'all need? And it's like, what I see is that when Malik is slow, when Fox is slow, because they tend to sometimes get off to slow starts, they don't got nobody to really consistently give them buckets, bro. Like, I don't know how much you going to rely on Kevin Huerter. He had a good game against the Pelicans, too. But that's not always. Like, he's not consistently a good player. They need a third. They need definitely a third player, bro. Because, Sabonis just get his stuff where he get his stuff at. He a big guy. He always going to get points and boards. Like, it's kind of not hard for him to get points and boards, bro. Because he just down there. So, it's like, I'm not going to say meaningless, but his points be meaningless. Like, I ain't even going to lie. I can see him at 30 and they still lose. Like, a lot of the time.
I would say for the way bigs get it, especially bigs who can't shoot the ball, like those points, like you said, they're already set in stone. It's just that when you need, coming down to the fourth quarter, when teams are like, more game planning a little bit better, they're like, oh, we can actually win this game. It's just a little bit different. You're going to need the shot creation or like the outside shot making from a De'Aaron Fox, a Malik Monk, but they can't be the only ones that do it. Like you said, Kevin Huerter is not very consistent. Like he doesn't have his role set in. He did have a bigger role last year, but Keegan Murray showed us a little something in the playoffs, so they're trying to like fit him a little bit in. Personally, I think there's 2 things they can do. They can like decide to stay with this team and hope for Keegan Murray. I don't think we're getting much more from Kevin Huerter than we already see. No. But as far as like a basketball player, and I think he's a good basketball player, I'm just saying I don't think there's much more. But we can wait to see if Keegan Murray can develop into an all-star, maybe all-NBA kind of player if they want to have that faith, or you take the pill and you go make a trade for that next guy, that next wing, who can be a defender and scorer on that team. I think, I'm not saying get a guy like this, but I think even adding like a JB to that team makes it just way much better, as far as like, oh, this team is a contender now. And they've proved that they can do great things in the playoffs. They took the Warriors to 7 last year. It was a great series. They're young. So we kind of seen the Warriors getting past them last year, but we'll just have to see. But I definitely do believe, and I think Keegan Murray's great, but I do believe the next step is finding a better player.
Yeah, that's what they're going to need. And then our second takeaway from this was what the hell happened to Zion Williamson? Because, bro, when it came to the Pelicans, everybody was excited about the core of the Pelicans because Zion Williamson was going to be a main part of that core.
Exactly.
But to me, he's just a role player. Like, he give me Ben Simmons vibes. Like, he better than Ben Simmons, but he give me Ben Simmons vibes. He's just there. He helped the game go along. You can't say he in the way. But you not. Bro, he ain't really helping either. I'm talking about 10 points in 28 minutes, bro. He's supposed to be Bron. I'm thinking like he gonna get 18 or something like that, bro. And I don't know, bro. What you think? Do you think we should rule out Zion to be a great player and just a role player? Like, what you think?
No, because
we talking about Wembanyama already.
He said has games where he's like, it's just what he has in his arsenal and just like his aggressiveness is just a little bit like too much to like give up on just now. You know, he still has those plays where he's like repping people and just putting it up for a dunk. One of like my favorite trademarks of his is when he does that, like he'll do a like little close shot, miss it, and then because he's so quick and big, he'll like kind of like box out when you in the air, get the rock, and then just go right back up. He's gonna get some of those, but I think what's good for him, let's say he's on the team with like a Tyrese Halliburton, we've seen a little bit of what he could do when he was with Lonzo, but I just think somebody needs to be feeding him. CJ McCollum, he's cool as a point guard, but he's not a point guard. And then there's really nobody else on that team that's going to give him the ball like that. So I think for him to reach his max potential, it comes down to having a point guard with him and a big that can space the floor very well. Because I want to see him in the paint on offense, and I want to see him on defense. So I think the Pacers would be great for him, honestly. Now I'm thinking about it. Miles Turner, spread the floor. But, I mean, that's just one team I'm thinking about. Get my man Tyrese some help.
You feel me?
But, yeah, I wouldn't give up on him just yet, but I do agree he's been kind of like...
lackluster. That's all I'm saying. Like, I thought by now we would have had, like, I don't know, something to talk about. I ain't really got nothing to talk about with him, bro. I really don't.
The thing with him, this is what players and teams, and I'm going to bring it up with a team that we'll bring up later, but they're going to talk about later. But when you reach like a certain level as a player or as a team, there's other players in this league that are rapidly growing. It's not, no disrespect to the league 20, 30 years ago, but that just wasn't happening as much. There wasn't as many generational talents coming into draft classes. So like now, like your spot can just be taken just like that. You see, Zion was like the most exciting prospect since LeBron, and he's barely in the news right now. We barely talk about him. It's like, oh yeah, Zion. That's kind of like what it is.
And that's why I wanted to bring that up, because I was just like, that's crazy, because we talk about Wembanyama now. We talking about Chet. We talking about all these people. Jalen Green was
the Thompson twins being one of the best of two of the best defenders for years to come. Soon, like we just got so much going on.
They was even talking about Herbert Jones more than they talking about Shoe Gang. Like, come on, bro.
I'm hearing about Jalen Williams this year.
Jalen Williams, right?
My man Jalen Williams,
right? And he on the
Thunder.
Yeah, Thunder, right? Yeah, because they got like 40 Jalen's on that team.
And like 3 Williams.
Yeah, that joke is really crazy. But yeah, man, I don't know. Look, man, let us know how y'all feel about Zion. I want to know y'all opinion on Zion, because nobody talking about Zion. That's why I'm concerned. That's why I'm really concerned. We thought he was going to be Bron. You feel me? Nobody talking about him, which makes me think about Victor Wembanyama and how, since everybody talking about him, you know, what he going to be doing in 3 years. You feel me? But he ain't had no crazy injury, so that's that. Barring no crazy injury, he could be cool. So now we're gonna move on to the Knicks and the Bucks. You feel me? Let me pull up the stats for that one, because that was last night. I mean, that was the last night.
While you pull up the stats, I want Knicks fans to realize, man, be appreciative of JB. If y'all ever boo JB, y'all gonna be cursed. Apparently, y'all already cursed, but it's like the best. It's like the best free agent signing y'all made since Melo.
It really is, bro.
Like,
and y'all had to cheat to get him. You know what I mean? Y'all was tampering.
Yeah, y'all was tampering.
So listen,
I can't tell. We tampered for PJ Tucker. But, yeah.
This is how I felt about. So obviously the Knicks did not win last night. They lost. You feel me? The Bucks started blowing them out towards the second half, and this is why I was concerned. I knew this was going to happen. Now Jalen Brunson didn't have the best game, and as far as efficiency wise, but for them to even be competitive, bro, one of their players need 40. It's always that way, bro. Last time they played the Bucks, JB had 40. This time, and they lost. This time, Julius Randle had 40, and they lost. It's like the whole team just can't get it together, bro, at one time. And that's just, I don't know, bro. They can beat weaker teams. They can beat teams that have the same type of setup they got, like Cleveland. But, bro, it's just when it comes to these top teams, these top contending teams, they be getting murdered, bro.
I just don't think they're good enough on paper And I know, like, we always say, like, it's not always about on paper, but I just honestly don't think the team is good enough.
And they have not changed. They haven't changed none of this for real.
I know it was kind of bad when Julius Randle was 11 for 11 at the first half because I was like, I'm not expecting him to just keep this up.
Bro,
you know,
he was going crazy. Julius Randle had definitely went crazy. But y'all just, bro, I'm telling you. Do you think it's just not enough defense on this team?
I mean, defense is kind of their thing. That's kind of what's keeping them above where. So I just don't think they're good enough. I think you just...
So it's not even enough offense.
Yeah, I think you go make the trade for Cat in this offseason and you get a little bit better or relevant or blow it up. I'm just being honest. It's just like, so looking at the starting lineup, you got Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett, Quentin Grimes, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson. I'm not looking at that in the beginning of the season and saying, oh, I see my team making it to the conference finals. I just don't. That doesn't scream that to me. Even with the help you got with Josh Hart, DiVincenzo, I think what comes to this team is just making like better draft pick decisions, making better trades because like it doesn't. New York is not the free agent spot that it used to be. Mm-hmm. So people aren't in a rush to get to New York, especially because they see the franchise as like
not going up.
Yeah, franchise that's not going up, an incompetent franchise. So it's just not like a place they want to go. I think they're just like in a kind of weird spot right now, and I think that's like the main problem.
That too. At least we got the big guys, so people want to come over and play with the big guys.
Yeah, we got a top 10 player in the league, and that's kind of like what you need to be a contender these days. Someone who's in, but like it's a chance that I'm looking at this team. Y'all probably don't have a top 25 player in the league.
Jalen Brunson is the only thing close.
So,
and who knows? He's 24 in scoring, I think. So there you go. On the other side, though, the Bucks, they look great. The Bucks been looking great for the past month. I'm not even going to say that the Knicks was looking all right for the past month too. They won as much as the Bucks won going into this joint. As far as they was on a 5-game winning streak, like they was on a 5-game winning streak. But when it comes to how the Bucks looking, bro, everybody on this team got something to prove. You feel me? Giannis got to prove that he really him. You feel me? That we can really talk about him like that. Like that first ring wasn't a fluke. Not saying he got to prove it, but that's what he out to prove. He out to prove to get a second ring and let y'all know the first one wasn't a fluke. And Dame don't got nothing. So Dame trying to get something. He don't even got a damn MVP. You feel me? He need at least a damn MVP.
He trying to show y'all that like, you mean, if he had a team, he'd be a contender. He'd be making noise. So that's what he's showing us right now.
And I'm just liking the way they all playing. You feel me? Right.
And one of the prime, but I just don't want to forget Chris Middleton.
No, I was just about to
in the game to get them into the play-in against the Miami Heat was like probably his like best game of the season to that date, and it was like he was like actually getting it together. There was this like play at the end where like the Bucks needed a bucket, and you're thinking, oh, it's Dame time right now. Mm-hmm. They made a play for Chris to get the ball, and he got the bucket at the end of the game, and it was good to see because it's like they're not going to live and die by Dame at the end of the game, which they don't have to, and it shows that they're confident in Chris Middleton taking that shot.
Because he's used to be the closer, he can still close games if y'all need him to close games.
And it's the best part because he doesn't have to drop 25 a game because he has Dame there. It could be games where he doesn't do anything until the fourth quarter and just lights it up, to be honest. So that's why I think it was a great move for him. I know defense wins championships, but offense also wins games, and that's how you win championships. You gotta score more than the other team, So that's what it's all about.
He had a good game last night too.
And then Malik Beasley's also learning how to shoot now that he's out of a Lakers jersey. Mm-hmm. So that's
corny. But all right. How far you think they can win it all on the East? You think they
the Bucks?
The East? Yeah, the Bucks come out the East.
I think they're right now. They look like the best team in the East to me. Honestly, just on paper and just as far as like what I've seen. I know the Celtics look really good. I just don't.
Well, Sixers.
Sixers, I think we're like that third team behind. I think Celtics, Bucks, and then Sixers right behind.
The Sixers started off pretty good this year.
Definitely did.
We'll talk about that a little later. All right, but we gotta get to the big guy. You feel me? If you haven't noticed yet, you feel me? We got some new decor. You feel me? I got Brown John. You feel me? We got more coming. You feel me? I got more coming. Y'all ain't see yet. You feel me? But Brown, that's a new addition. You feel me? New addition. But last night, speaking of Brown, went crazy, okay, against KD. Him and KD was going back and forth. You feel what I'm saying? They actually had the same amount of points? That's crazy. They did. They ended up with the same amount of points. They was really going back and forth. What about the plus minus? Brown was over in the plus minus, dog. You know what I mean? He was a little bit more efficient. So, listen. Suns, Lakers. Lakers got the dub. And this is why I want to explain to y'all why this was an important win for them. Because besides just besides the whole playing thing, you feel what I'm saying? They actually now have the tiebreaker going into the postseason. So they played 5 times this year, and they just won their 3rd game against the Suns. So, because they won the first 2 matchups with them.
Okay.
Being as though Devin Booker didn't play. And they was able to scratch out that win. You feel me? They got this one right here. And now they can hold the tiebreaker going into the postseason, which is something that we know a team like the Lakers need because they be up and down. Well, they were up and down last year. This year, they pretty good so far. You feel me? They was up and down last year. So I always like to see them get as much wins early and get stuff like this early. So I was really liking that. And AD came to play, bro. You feel me? He was a little when he came to play, bro. You feel what I'm saying? He came to play 15 boards. Come on, bro. 15 boards, 27 points. That's all we asked from you, bro. Brown with his 31. And I don't know how you feel about this, but I think Brown want to be the first player in history to win the in-season tournament.
I think so too. And
I think he want that MVP.
I think above that, he's trying to get that $500,000.
Oh, for sure.
Brian cheap, so he can that Spotify Premium.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, bro. And I also heard not just this team, but a lot of other teams talking about how they're playing for the young guys, like all the people who trying to get into the in-season tournament.
And
playing for the young guys.
For everybody who was saying this in-season tournament is not really developing, like people don't really care about it like that. Some of our best games this season have been from the in-season tournament because not only is it like a bragging rights for your side, East or West, or like just for the whole league, but they also count as regular season games. So because they count as regular season games that get you to the playoffs, you kind of like gotta play them.
Right?
So,
exactly. You gotta play them.
It's a whole different court. The fans, they're getting into it.
I'm getting into it.
Yeah, the teams that aren't doing too good are the teams that act like they don't care or who don't know like the rules. Or we're like, oh yeah, exactly. Why are you scoring at the end of the game? Because there's a point differential.
I'm going to ask you about that too. But I'm going to ask you that later.
All right, say that.
Just going into the Suns, this is the first time in a long time, I don't know how long it's been, since I've seen Devin Booker and KD play together. And that boy Booker good, bro. That boy Booker, he good, bro. But do you think they have enough, do you think they're going to be healthy going into the postseason? Because this whole season, I don't even think I've seen the big three play together if they haven't played together. The last 2 times they played the Lakers, Devin Booker and Bradley was not in that, John. So it's just like...
This is my way too early take, but just from seeing this happen before, I've seen it happen with other super teams that don't really get a chance to play against each other. Remember Paul George and Kawhi never really got a chance to gel, and they're adding more personalities, even though they still haven't really had a chance to gel. But you add Bradley Beal to this team, which sounded great. We were ready for it. And I don't know what anybody else knew when the trade happened, but I didn't know he was going to miss so much time in the beginning of the season.
I knew he was hurt. They said he was hurt. They said he was coming off an injury, but I didn't think he was going to be gone this long.
Then he came back, and he needed to play 2, actually. Two, yeah. One against the Lakers that Devin Booker didn't play in, another game that Devin Booker didn't play in. KD and D-Book have played a good amount of games together, but they've also, I think KD and D-Book, because of their style of play, they're going to be cool. Bradley Beal hasn't been on a contender once in his life. Dog, you need to get out there. I hope you get healthy, bro. As a basketball player, I want to see what's going on with this team. You're supposed to be apparently running point for the team and stuff like that, but if it keeps going like this, even when he comes back in 3 weeks, I see him missing even more games. And come playoff time, I don't know exactly what that's going to look like, especially with the role players for the Suns are being asked to step up when the big guys aren't there. But the big guys usually aren't there. We look at a team with the Lakers. For the most part, of course, barring like a significant injury, LeBron and AD is there, so then they're used to it when they have to come back.
At least one of them.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of games where KD played by himself.
It's a lot of games. I watched most of the games.
And he's the oldest guy there. I'm not really. We should see Bill and Devin Booker going out there. KD's been playing for 17 years. It's a reason why he came here, because he wanted some help. You know what I mean? Like,
he wanted to chill a little bit. Him, Harden, and Kyrie was all looking to chill. And it was like, if we all get together, we don't got to ball that hard. Like, I mean, we gonna ball hard, but we ain't got to ball that hard.
You gotta play some games. And I hope he's cool, because they said he had to be out for, I think it was like a week or 2 ago, they said he had to be out for 3 weeks. So like, and back injury is something crazy. I'm just hoping, I feel like it's something we're not being told, and I'm really hoping that it's not like, the Wizards traded somebody who was like hurt, like really bad, and we just didn't know. We knew he had injury problems. He's had them for most of his career, but I hope the Suns didn't get like the washed version of Bradley Beal.